Yo, what's up, Underpeelers? Welcome to episode 6 of the Underpeel podcast. Today we got the reoccurring other host, Pen Flash, and the representative from the winner of Crib, Ulius.
Hello.
What's up, everyone?
So we got a kind of different format for this week. Because there was, 27 teams?
26.
26 teams. There was a lot of Swiss matches. There was like 36, if I remember correctly. So we're not going to go over all of them. That's winning games.
I've revolutionized Zon's podcasting. If I was like, why don't you just pick the best ones to go over instead of, going over every 13-4 game in the entire Swiss thing?
There's a lot of 13-4s. There's a lot of 13-4s. I think there's like at least 9 in the Swiss stages this past week.
There's a lot. But we have with us Julius J, the tournament winning player from Nibs and Knobs.
Hello.
I think we wanted to start with like a bit of an interview first, just to talk about like what was, as you went into this first tournament, like what was kind of your all's expectation as a team? Because I feel like up until this point, you all are one of the teams that have played, I think, in every event, correct?
Yes, we have.
Do you think you had how was your approach going into this tournament different? Was it different going into this one versus any of the other events?
Well, a big thing that we did mental-wise was we started that is what it was. We started prioritizing our mental above all else. We had started playing before this tournament specifically. We had played a group warm-up. We were in VC together a significant amount of time before the actual games started, and we had a sit down with our coach, Overheated, to really bear down on what we were going to prioritize going into that weekend, and we were able to maintain a strong mental throughout the whole weekend. It worked very well for us.
So it was kind of, you're saying you spent more time as a team, making sure your chemistry and the vibes were up even before matches started, and that
right.
You think that ended up making the difference?
I do. I think if there's one thing that our team is going to be known for, it's going to be known for having the best vibes, the best chemistry that there is, that leads into strong performances, even on losses.
For you specifically, because I did highlight at the beginning of the season, I earmarked Nibs and Knobs as, like you said, having excellent team chemistry, because they're one of 3 teams carrying over a core of 4 players from last season. And I actually met K-Pay and Liberty in Madrid. Right. And yeah, they have the vibes going. But you are the 5th member who's coming into the core of 4. Well, talk to us about what was the process of how easy was it to integrate into the team, and the vibes that you're experiencing as the newer player to the squad.
Well, when you say newer, I think I think of the least old, actually.
Yeah.
Even when that group had formed, I was still in and out, still vibing with them halfway consistently. It's just that core 5, including FMJ, that had they were all a tight-knit group, and then I was there every now and again. I'd subbed in for Premier sometimes as well for them.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think I've seen when I've been I've spent hours just staring at everyone in the Underpeel's tracker links when doing like registration and stuff. So I think I remember seeing your name like on their premier team list. So you were pretty tight with the group even before season 4 started. Basically, is what you're saying.
Right. During season 3, I was talking with them a good bit. They were sharing their matches that they had played during Underpeel season 3. And I was just happy to watch and talk about them. And we, when time came when they realized that they wouldn't be having FMJ for this coming season, I don't want to get overconfident in saying it seemed like an easy choice for them.
Nice. Last question for me, and then I'll let Zahn ask some questions for his interview. But I think that's another one of the things that interested me the most coming into this season is that FMJ was the duelist player for this squad, and you're obviously a hardcore recon initiator player.
Right.
So talk to us about how, like, what's the process been for the team in finding, like, who did someone step up for the duelist role, or what was it kind of a by committee process?
The way I remember, right, we had discussed who was the most comfortable on their role. KP being an extremely strong controller player, Booker being a fantastic sentinel player. It was up to between Koopa and Liberty to really fill in that gap where it was left. We experimented a few times with non-duelist team comps, but we settled on the idea that we swap back and forth between who's playing the duelist between those two, because Liberty is very comfortable on Raze, and Koopa has found a home on Jet and Yoru, depending on the map. And just as well, KP being one of the front runners for deciding on things like that.
Gotcha.
Our goated team captain.
Team Captain KP.
All right. Going it since you guys obviously won the thing, you go into the top 8. Going into the top 8, did you guys do any sort of anti-stratting on the team since you got the first round matchup?
Anti-stratting, not so much. The biggest thing that we did was we were able to look back through and find the first round opponent, which I believe was Zonkt. We found a match that they had played, but we were comfortable that we weren't going to be playing on that map, or we were quite sure we weren't going to be playing on that map. So all we were able to truly get out of it was the individual play styles of the team members. In which case we resolved to double down on our own personal play style and make sure it was as airtight as we could make it.
Gotcha, that makes sense, yeah. Obviously, you played a lot of Split this.
Yes, we did. I believe it was.
You played so much Split
over the weekend. I think it was 4 Split matches.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you played Split on every single top 8 map too.
We did have an Ascent match round 2 of top 8.
Would you say that with Split leaving, you think your map pool might have got a bit weaker? Your map selection?
Personally, I would say no, because we're getting Haven in the map pool, and while I've never had the pleasure to play on Nibs and Knobs on Haven in the season past, I am aware of how strong this particular team's Haven play is, and with the new map Abyss coming in, we have taken a great grand look at it. The 6 of us that there are now, the team and the coach, to really bear down on what we want to accomplish for the map. So, not necessarily stronger, but our map pool certainly has not decreased by any measurable amount.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
I have a
I'm just glad that Haven's back in the map pool. I miss
Absolutely.
that map so much.
Haven
agree with you 100%.
Fantastic to be back.
The best map for real.
I was deep diving a lot of the teams today, and I noticed a lot of teams it seemed like, had a very particular map, especially in this tournament. A lot of teams like literally played all 3 matches or all 4 matches on the exact same map the entire weekend. Was that your all strategy coming into this tournament, or were you more open in your map pool, like what you were willing to play? Or was it very consciously like, we are trying to get to split?
We weren't actively looking for split. We knew to be prepared for it because split is a very popular map. There were a lot of teams that were going to be ready for it, so we wanted to be just as ready. There was a short list of maps that we truly could not crack, we're not comfortable on, that we just resolved to ban, because our general idea, maps like Breeze, Icebox, maps that people don't normally enjoy, we had quite a good hold on, I would say, on the macro of playing those maps. So our overall goal was to just make sure that we had the possibility of hitting a map like that, but just to make sure we basically got comfortable on as many maps as we could and made a list in descending order of what would be best for us, and we chose our maps based off of that.
Nice. That's a great answer.
All right. And with that, good interview. Let's start the Swiss stage of this past tournament.
Dun-dun-dun. Our new segment, our 5-star Swiss matches.
Oh no, it's not full screen properly.
I mean, we gotta have we need a oh, I don't hear the music now because we're just in a casting desk. So I don't know if we have music playing, but I'll play the segment music. 5-star Swiss stage.
All right, we got 5 crazy matches, honestly. Most of these surprised me. The first map, Warble versus Cloud10 in Swiss Stage 1, 13-11 on Sunsets. I honestly wasn't expecting Cloud10 to lose.
Yeah, one of the reasons I was interested in this match in particular is it's obviously close, but I believe this is the first match with Cloud10's new roster. So they made a roster change of their team captain, who has now swapped to being just kind of the manager of the team, Mix, because they're APAC. So they were suffering from the ping, but so they were able to pick up a new player, Lolris, and they were able to get so their Pilo is way up. So they have a stronger team now. So I was very interested in seeing how they performed with this new roster. It looks like they were almost able to take the very first W here with this new roster. But Far, obviously, like, huge MVP performance on the Cypher for Warble. 9-1 in first engagements. And just looking at the first deaths, right, for the other team, like, a lot of those had to have come on JG. So, like, I think that's the game there, is like them being able to take that here, or Far getting consistent value on the first kills on Sunset here.
Yeah, looking at the rounds timeline, it just seemed like Cloud10 couldn't hold defense at all. If I had to guess, probably over aggression on their parts. Either that or Warble played very, very slow.
Yeah, double pistol win for Cloud10, it looks like.
Yeah, they just
not able to take the map. So Warble Sunset Attack looks dangerous. They're running
9-3.
What is this comp? Oh, I forgot. Warble's the team with Brimstone, bro. So they have to play Brim. I was looking at the comp and I was like, oh, it looks kind of normal. And then I'm like, Brimstone, okay.
I think I scripted the team. I think it was Warble where they had a Brimstone on Sunset and they had a lineup from what was it? The Boba entrance of top mid to the stairs plant. I was just like, what the hell, man? Why?
I love lineups so much.
I hate lineups so much. Yo, you're one to talk Mr. Silva main. Played Silva on Split.
Absolutely, I did, but I'm here to adapt.
All right, and with that, let's go to the next game.
Well, but also to talk about this segment as we go to the next one is we are intent. Well, one of the things I had pointed out is that in the Swiss stages, we're going to try and look and find the closest matches, the best matches that probably weren't on stream, and also teams that we're going to talk about. Like we're able to talk more generally about these rosters because they're going to be normally the ones that are not like didn't make top 8.
Yep, and we're trying to get a wide variety. Try not to get
Yeah,
too
we can
many
talk
teams
about
like the
all
same
the
ones.
different teams.
Yeah. All right. We can go to the next slide. Oh no. I. It seems to not be working. I am on the next slide. There we go. All right. This is another Swiss Stage 1 game. Silly Little Operas versus 404 Aim Not Found. 13-15 on Ascent.
Overtime game on Ascent here.
I'm noticing a weird trend of Ascent going to overtime, or at least getting very close to overtime. A lot of Ascent games have been doing this. Like, I just think it's a map that almost every team is ready to play on. Especially
Yeah, it's probably like almost every team's like third preferred map. You know,
Yeah.
like everyone's like, yeah, we're pretty decent on it. Like, and you can kind of see that in the stat lines here of like everybody had a good game here. Shout out to even the Silly Little Oppers lost here. Ultra is, I think, one of the higher Pilo value players. If I remember watching in the draft, like marking him as a shooter on the get-go, and he's 29, 16, and 7.
Yeah, Ultra drops hard. They drop so many kills. It's wild that they lost like that. And 4 for 1 with a sub too. Is Potato subbing in for I can't tell off the top of my head, but
yeah, double raise comp. That's crazy comp 404.
That's supposed to be
I would not have. I would not have had fun playing against that comp. I'll tell you what.
That's supposed to be Silva. Whatever. I think it's Silva or Fade. I can't tell. Actually, hold on. It's supposed to be Fade.
I mean, maybe this you could, if you want to be reductive about this game. Basically, everyone evened themselves out, and it came down to the low elo players. It looks like a Villager, a bronze player, goes 14, 18, and 8, able to kind of hold their own, and rough game for Fire Spirit, who had a rough game here, but I think has been really valuable to Silly Little Operas like the entire season. One of the reasons Slow have been able to have good performances in a couple of the other tournaments, I think, is because Fire Spirit is one of the higher rated silver players so far in Underpeel.
Yeah. Hey, Fire Spirit usually pulls up his own, despite being a bit outclassed in a lot of matches.
Yeah, she reminds me a lot of Frank, but she's on Omen, where she just does these insane TP plays. And you know, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but they're fun to watch for sure.
Yeah. I might attribute this to Gold having a not weird play style, but he might just be like counter IGLing, which probably led them to the win of the second overtime.
Potentially, yeah. Just very even game here, and I mean, I think it goes to show that 404 don't have like the strongest record yet, haven't made a top 8 in an event yet, but like are able to go like get wins off of some of the higher seeded teams, right? Silly Little Oppers are currently the 9th seed in the league. They have 10 Underpeel points. They've made a top 4 in an event, and 404 haven't managed to get to that high of a placement yet, but are able to take a pretty key win here off of a strong team in the league.
Absolutely. It would speak to their mental as well going into double overtime. I usually find the winning team in those situations ends up being the one that's able to stay locked in throughout those back and forth, those half switches every single round. It's very taxing. And if you can stay in the game and make sure you don't falter, you're gonna you're likely to come out on top for it, and I think that's what we see here.
Yeah, going to the streets, Gold apparently was dragging his team to the victory in the overtime. All right. And with that, let us go to the next game. Controlled Chaos versus You Raise Me Up 13-11 on Sunsets. This is Swiss Stage 3.
Yeah, so the third round of Swiss here. Controlled Chaos are round 3 of Swiss Demons. I think all of their wins have come in round 3 of Swiss. And they're just they're an interesting team. I viewed them, I thought they were going to be stronger coming out of the draft. I was really impressed with Team Captain Temptuous's draft. And I think what we see is just having to have 2 lower elo players ends up just being kind of an anchor that holds them down a little bit, but like they're able to take good wins off of solid teams like Raise Me Up here 13-11 on Sunset. And obviously Wet Pants is if Stat Boy is here can correct me, but like I think Wet Pants is like one of, if not the highest rated player in the league currently, but like he's just constantly having to hard carry, but able to do it.
Is top 3 highest.
Let me see, let me reset. Yeah, if we take out I've reset my stats. Let's see. Wetbread is currently 9th, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the players ahead of him have only played in one event. So
yeah,
he's basically 4th. Only behind Kahuna, JG, and and Baka. Baka is actually ahead of both Kahuna and JG.
Yeah, Baka seed has been popping off lately, but I'm not gonna lie, this game kind of surprised me. Like when I looked at it the first time, Snow and Tempestuous both played really well. Just looking at this, like it's Snow taking first engagements too. If it's 5 and 4 is a bit surprising, and Teku just seemed to just not be taking first engagement at all. 0 and 2 with that, which is kind of surprising considering he's playing Reina. It's kind of his job too.
Yeah, Teku with the EU ping, I think at times gets not as much value as he normally would.
Yeah.
Like a very weird Sunset comp here for You Raise Me Up too, with Reina, Jet, solo initiated Gecko. And that's something you see a ton of.
Yeah, I think I guess their whole play was to just dominate on attack with that comp, but just Control Chaos won too many defense rounds and just.
Well, if we look at impressive from Control Chaos. Looking at the round timeline here, You Raise Me Up were up 11-9, and Control Chaos were able to win 4 rounds in a row to take the win. So good little comeback from them there.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Massive difference in the cast numbers between these two teams, and you can see the results happening between Snow, Tempestuous, and Pikachu. Those assists are through the roof, and whenever you see that much of a difference in the cast, you can rely on that to be a difference maker in these matches.
Yeah, cast is usually the coordination stat, as it kind of helps reveal like how well the team was playing together, basically.
Right.
So the difference of it was only 2 rounds difference, but so kind of the key difference here is Control Chaos were able to play better as a team and got them the win, basically.
I would not be surprised if those final 4 rounds that Controlled Chaos pulled through, they had their trades locked in, their team play was ready to go, and they just were able to push together.
Yeah. Yeah. You Raise Me Up couldn't get the last 4 rounds they needed, so. No, 2. I'm dumb. Whatever. With that, let's go to the next slide.
Another round 3 game here.
Elo
between-
Faders versus moderate 14.
Yeah, former draft kickoff winning team, Elo Evaders, managing to win by the skin of their teeth against moderate here. Interesting to see as has moderate switched to trying to go for a Kahuna hard carry strategy.
I feel like that was their plan the entire time now.
No, but like because Kahuna is a like obviously high elo, but one of the differences about Kahuna versus most other high elo players is that he was back in season 1 he played like Flash Initiator. He played like KO a lot. And
He did, yeah, you're right.
And in ranked, I know heading into this season he was a controller player. But we see him on the Rays here. I don't know if Stat Boy is here or if we have any of the moderate players here who might be able to give us some info about what's going on here. It might be, I recognize Jess here is a substitute player for moderate. So
No,
I wonder if they had to do some role swaps to accommodate a sub for moderate. Yeah, Jess is definitely subbing here. I mean,
subbing for actually no.
They would be subbing for K.Rex, who
A-Dot,
so
yeah.
I think they probably swapped roles up a little bit here.
Yeah, because Jess
because of that
basically
potentially?
one tricks Killjoy.
Yeah, Jess is just only gonna. I think with sub they swapped roles. Okay, so not going. I mean, maybe though we should. This could be a sign of maybe we just put Kahuna on Duelist. And
34, 17, and 8 is crazy.
we almost take the game in OT versus one of the top 5 teams and one of the 3 teams who have won an event. Or 4 teams now, excuse me. One of the event winners, might have been a strategy here.
I mean, yeah, I think it might be a bit hard for Kahuna to be that like hard entry fagger, even because if I remember correctly, Kahuna is their IGL.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be hard to do both, although I don't doubt that he can do it. Kahuna is insane at this game. Hi, Lily.
Oh, hello. But yeah, to talk about the team that won the game again, another comeback. It looks like a pretty big one too. It looks like Elo Evaders started off strong, but moderate were able to win 7 rounds in a row across the 2 halves. They lost bonus, but then they were. What would the score been? It would have been 11-7, and Elo Evaders were able to force OT, winning 5 out of the last 6, basically, and then took it in overtime.
Yeah, that's being down that much and forcing it to OT. That is hard.
Our mental is crazy. Yeah, I could see that, Glue. Shout out a big game from Chase, 26, 18, and 10, the triple double for the flex player for the team. And then another important player, I think one of the secrets to Elo Evaders, why they've been such a successful team so far in season 4, is Shu, XWX here. Can't say the actual pronunciation of the name, but Shu, as a plat level duelist coming in, being able to get 14 first engagements, win 8 of them, have 150 ADR against going head to head against a like peak Radiant player on the other duelists, is pretty high value for Shu.
Small correction, Shu is Diamond 2 right now.
Well, he's ranked up, but I mean when he was drafted, I think he was plat 3, but yeah, I mean still getting from a mid elo player like pretty really good value basically.
Right.
With positive against a Kahuna. That's crazy.
And with the +2 first engagements as well, that really goes to show the level of play that they were putting out.
It kind of shows that what you're looking for in a mid elo player, that they're not going to be your hard carry, right? Like a lot of times we see in Underpeel like a team constructed around an Immortal 3 duelist who is just absolutely trying to hard carry, deadlift their team to victories, right? But Shu here, right, is getting good value and doing like the duelist job, basically. Like not hard carrying the team, like Shu's not gonna like win the map alone, but is doing the job of the duelist very effectively.
Yeah. I'm just looking at this round timeline. It just seemed like, if I had to guess, Kahuna was probably entering in those, like when the win streak happened on Elevator's part. Kahuna probably went in, got traded, and then the rest of the team just couldn't win out the round. Especially when you have like 3 diffuses and a bomb explode. It seems like they just couldn't.
Maybe the case, yeah.
Yeah. Especially with Glue saying that Kahuna would just go in and die. It's crazy. This game is crazy. Eyelid.
I think the last thing I'll say about it before we move on to our last 5-star Swiss match of this segment is that I think it shows that Moderate is a team that isn't one of those teams that has played in every event, and so they're not as high on the Underpeel standings, but are a solid team that can potentially do damage going forward.
Definitely a force to be reckoned with across the teams.
Yeah, I'll leak it a bit. We have scrimmed Moderate. They perform really well in that scrim. They are not to be messed with. So I have high expectations for them going forward.
The scrim box.
I mean, yeah, the Underfield teams scrim each other. That's just whatever. Anyways, let's get into the last 5-star Swiss round. Swiss game. Asayaki versus Navi win on Sunset 11-13.
A lot of Sunset matches, I believe.
There's so many.
Yeah, a lot of
I think
teams.
Sunset's the best. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of I think 3 of these 5 matches were on Sunset. It looks like. This one stuck out to me. Obviously, it was a close game, but I view both of these teams as teams that are similar to Moderate, maybe even a low. I would probably put them like a tier level higher than Moderate, maybe. Statboy's not here to get on to me for saying that, so. But like both of these teams, I think, are teams that have potential to get a top 4, or maybe even a win in a tournament in the future. Neither were able to make the top 8 of this tournament, but one of the reasons I wanted to look at this one is because it close game between 2 like underrated teams, I would think, so far in this team.
Yeah, they just kept from around time. They just kept trading rounds with each other. Like they were 6-6 at the half. Navi win 1-3. Asayaki won 3 after that. Like it seems that Navi win just was able to take it out in the end and not make it so the Asayaki couldn't bring it into overtime.
Yeah, I mean, difference here clearly. My eye immediately goes to Splatter for Navi to win 17-14 and 6 on Fade, the silver player for Navi to win. Having a great game, it looks like, in terms of what we normally see from a like lower elo player in the Underpeel, and that I think that ends up being the difference here between these 2 teams. But both teams are filled with like really high kind of caliber for their ranked players. Like Raffi, I think, is plat. Just Ghost is plat, but they're able to hold their own, get good stats in this game.
Yeah. Just looking at KDAs, it doesn't look like this game would be very close, especially with like everyone on Navi win being the double single.
Yeah,
on
true.
KDA.
True. the stats, the kills definitely seem to favor Navi win, but I think it's one of the reasons I'm higher on Asayaki is because I think they have really good chemistry together. I think they're one of the teams that I could see like after they're a draft team. So I could see in like probably around I wouldn't be surprised if they're one of the teams that comes out of LCQ, for example. Because I think after they have another month or so of working together and playing together for longer, I think their chemistry together is going to be able to kind of elevate them to being a higher tier team than what we're kind of seeing. So,
yeah, and Darius is a pretty smart player, so he's probably picking up some shots on the piss. I think they're playing this week, right? Asayaki.
Yeah, but I mean, Into the Abyss is going to be our biggest tournament we've ever run in the Underpeel. It's 30 teams, 30 teams strong. It's almost every team.
That's insane.
Only 2 of the like really active teams are missing it. So we basically have every team participating.
That's great.
So it's going to be hype.
Something I do want to point out in this game. Navi Win has a really spread out first engagements compared to Asayaki, where it's like only on Darius, Rafi, and Lane. Like with the exception of Splatter, almost everyone was the first engagements.
Yeah, very evenly spread. But it's kind of what we're seeing in the meta of the meta that's emerging in like pro play and probably leaks down into this kind of more amateur coordinated scene. Is that the meta is not super macro, it's very focused on micro engagements and it's very brawly. So having players on any role that are able to take those first engagements and win them out and spread it out is important to being a strong team in this, like how the game is developing.
Yeah, it seems like I've noticed this more. A lot of the high elo carry teams, like moderate, kinda has 1 or 2 people with really high engagements, and the rest of the team just doesn't really do the first engagement. And then you have a lot of the mid elo teams like Navi Win, where they tend to have a much more spread first engagement.
Yeah.
And then
it probably speaks to how those teams play the macro too, to be honest. Of when you see, like, for example, a team with one player with a ton of the first engagements, that means they're probably doing more heavy execute strats, right? More 4-1s or even 5-man full rushes. Whereas if the engagements are more spread out, it probably means that the team is more defaulty, right? That anyone might be able to get that first engagement.
Yeah. I think I'll try to keep track of this going forward and seeing if the successful teams tend to have that spread first engagement compared to heavy first engagement person or people. So we'll have to see if this is a pattern going forward. I think it might be, but we'll see.
All right, with that, that's the Swiss stage. We covered all the super close games, the interesting ones that stuck out, and now we can head on to talking about top 8 teams here.
Top 8, the ones that got streamed. All right, and with that, let's start. Jingtian Tigers versus Frog.gif in the quarterfinals, 4-13 on Bind.
Wow.
Yeah, this game wasn't close, was it?
People continuing the action of being super subs.
Yeah. It's gonna be rough for the Tigers here of I don't know. I would be salty if I was I'm looking at the stat line and the 2 subs just demolished us, and I'm like, okay, all right. I'd just be like, all right, But the Tigers, I think, have been like we'll probably talk. We'll be able to talk about Frog.gif more in their semifinal match, I think. But the Tigers, I think, have been a team that I keep my eye on. I think I'm not sure if we've actually streamed them yet or not. Like, been able to catch one of their games. But this was their first time making it to top 8. They are 12th right now in the Underpeel standings. They are 6-6, so they're a 500 team. They have a plus round differential, so they're one of those teams, I think, and I know that they're not as active in, for example, like the in-house community. I believe we played on stream this turn. We played someone on Lotus. Oh, you must, yeah, in the watch party. I guess we were. Yeah, we watch partied them. Yeah, I know that they're premier teammates, and so like I keep thinking that like they're gonna have they'll be a team kind of like a Nibs and Knobs. But I maybe I even think of them kind of like Nibs and Knobs from season 3, where they were a solid team but hadn't reached that upper championship level yet. But I'm gonna keep my Tigers stonks high though, despite them losing 13-4 here.
I'll invest along with you.
All right, bet.
Yeah,
and Julius.
Team, yeah.
And me and Julius are the owners of Xinjiang Tigers Island. Right? No one else can have Tiger stock.
Played Monopoly. We bought all the houses on that property.
Exactly. It's gonna pay off big when they win. Championships.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to the next quarterfinals match. Micro Celebs versus Evil Buffoons on Ascent, 13-10.
I love this match because of the storylines. Both of these teams were teams who. Both of these teams in the registered teams kickoff went 0-3 in Swiss stage. So they were kind of the lowest teams coming out of that initial kickoff tournament. Evil Buffoons had some like moderate success in the Masters Swiss stage, but didn't set the world on fire or anything. But both of these teams able to come out redemption stories basically in this tournament coming forward. Like Micro Celebrities going from being 0-3 to being 3-0, and I think Evil Buffoons. No, they didn't go 3-0, but they were able to go 2-1 and make top 8. So both teams with great showings, like bouncing back from rough starts to the season.
Yeah, it just seems like Olin popped off with the 420 ACS.
Doing what he does best.
Yeah, Olin able to beat the allegations coming out of the Swiss stage that it was all Frogfurter. Or not Frogfurter, Manuel, who was the key to success for Micro Celebrities. He's the one who turned them around. Olin able to easily was raring to go, it looks like, for this quarterfinal match. I mean, 96% cast on a duelist is insane.
Truly basically incredible.
Yeah, like you just killed someone like every round, basically.
Yeah. So, looking at the first engagements, if I had to guess at what happened on Micro Celeb's attack half, I'm assuming that Bakasita killed Fang a lot and Olin just got the trade. Because looking at Fang's 3-7 first engagements and Bakasita's 8-5 first engagements, it kind of seems a bit skewed in a weird way. So, if I had to guess, that's what happened. Also, probably Bakasita.
This was our stream game, and really what ended up happening is that this game was really close in the first half. Evil Buffoons had a really good defensive game plan, I believe. And Olin, just through like kind of sheer force of will, was able to get enough attack rounds for him. I mean, like this eco round 2, ends up being like kind of the difference in the game a little bit. If they don't get that, that might be like 2 less rounds than Micro Celebrities win on attack here, and they were only able to get 5 in the first place.
Right.
But then Evil Buffoons, when they swapped onto the attack, just like is very clear, they did not have the same level of preparation and game plan for how they wanted to attack on Ascent compared to how they played defense. I remember they just played it so slow. Like, you can see there's even a round that they lost on time. Like, they didn't get the bomb down. So
there's a good chance it might have been a save round, but I do think the double controller team composition that they're running here may have had something to do with that, because they're a little bit lacking in the information department because of that. And on attack side Ascent, I'm a big proponent of having the information that you need without having to put
no
into...
info initiator on Ascent. You're right, Yuli.
It's very difficult.
I'm trying to remember what pro team ran the Viper. I think it's not loud. It actually might be. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I remember them playing, when they played Ascent with the Viper, it was very slow. Like, almost every round went to...
It wasn't just slow. I remember commenting on it while casting the game of like, it wasn't just a slow thing. It was a slow without a purpose thing. It very much felt like, I remember like watching and being like I remember it took them 6-7 rounds maybe to start breaking the trip mid, for example. So like what ended up happening, or breaking Cypher utility on B. What ended up happening is they kept trying to force A, and they just were running into a 3 or 4 stack and just getting demolished, basically.
Right.
And not the Ascent special.
Yeah, like Dr. Turnip as like a Sentinel player was able to basically lock down B and market area for Micro Celebrities, and they were just able to stack the correct sites a lot of the time. Yeah, and you can see that of like, it's not a lot of defuses, right? On the retakes, it's kills. They were just able to shut down hits really effectively, which is fascinating for the Micro Celebrities comp, which is, they're running double duelists, but we're able to make it work.
Yep, and with that, let's go into the next quarterfinal match. Zonkt versus Nims and Noms on Split, 11-13.
Yeah, we have one of the players from the game.
What a match this was.
We have both players from the game.
Yep. What a match.
What a match.
My only contribution, I'll say very quickly, just immediately looking at the timeline. Again, Zonkt off to a blistering start again in the quarterfinals of a tournament. This is like going up 6-0 to start and then blowing it. They did the exact same thing in the Masters top 8 against One Tap Copium.
Yeah, it felt like when you guys started your win streak on your attack, our defense, it just kind of like felt like you adapted and we couldn't adapt to your adapt.
Sure. Our attack side on this map, not to give away too much, of course, but I mean, y'all have seen how we play on Split in the upcoming coverage match. The best thing that I think we do as a team is we're able to rapidly adapt and lock on to the enemy's strategy, especially on our attack sides. We're able to find what's exploitable and take it for all it's worth. So we were able to start up 6-0, and I won't lie when I say those 5 rounds afterwards were a little bit of us getting a little in our heads, or I should say a little bit ego, and we paid for it a little bit, but we were able to recenter and relock in there.
It'd be interesting to have both of you kind of break down exactly what it was that you saw as the weakness and what you ended up exploiting. Because Split is out of the rotation. It's not going to be back for the rest of the season.
Probably a long time, honestly.
Yeah, so what was... we can either hear from Zahn of what he thinks went wrong, or That would be a fun game. Like, Zon, what do you think went wrong with Zonk's squad's defense? What was exploited? We'll see if you're correct in your analysis.
On our defense.
Yeah,
I
what
think,
happened? You all were up
so-
6-0.
So the no, Nims and Knobs are up 6-0.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it's
you
enough.
were up.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, I
we
was
started
incorrect.
6-0.
Oh,
Yeah.
my bad. Then my analysis from the beginning was wrong.
I think what really went wrong was Zonk Squad's defense. And so yeah, it was a bit of a disconnect between me and the rest of the team, what they wanted to do on defense. So I think when the Nibs and Knobs went under 4-game winning streak on their attack to close out the game, I couldn't adapt fast enough, and there was definitely a miscommunication issue happening in it, which I think was what led us to losing those last few rounds. Because if that hadn't had happened, I believe we could have actually won the game in over. Because I won't lie, I was a bit useless the last couple of rounds because I was again miscommunication.
What was the adaptation then that led to Nibs and Knobs being able to get those last 4 wins?
That'd be a question for me.
Yeah.
Well, for those last set of rounds, we were able to. What I will say is once our attack half started, we were winning rounds sort of, but we were unable to truly lock into how to break down the defense. So we took a look at the rounds that we had won, what had worked for us, and we were able to lock into a play style that would effectively punish what we had found, what we had discovered. We were able to make an early pick. Even if it got traded, we were able to continue the pressure, and I don't want to say W key, but to keep the aggression active, to keep the pressure happening, so that there was never a moment for Zonk Squad to breathe and recollect themselves.
All right, what I'm hearing from that answer that you're not willing to say, but I'll say it, is that you noticed that Zoink Squad were pushing out too much and you punished them for it. And took the space that they gave up because they overextended is what I'm hearing.
There may have been a few rounds where we were able to punish some over-aggression.
Because I was like, I'm listening to your answer, and I'm like, why is he not just saying what part of the map they were exploiting? What was the weak part? And I was like, oh no, he's talking about they're exploiting player tendencies. I got it.
Yeah. So there are times where we were able to place pressure somewhere that we could anticipate another member of the team assuming that space was free somewhere else on the map.
I see.
And since I'm not naming any names, that won't necessarily break any anonymity.
Zon, were you pushing in front of your setups again?
Actually,
Zon,
no.
Zon was lurking quite often.
Not by my own volition, I would like to add.
I don't believe that, Zon. I've watched enough in-houses with you walking in front of your setup to know that that's something you're more than willing to do.
I am not that. I don't lurk that much on split. Would rather play with the team. Nah, shut up.
on their defense rounds, Zonk Squad. I'm looking at the last 4 rounds right now.
Yeah.
And I can see that their cipher is set up on their strong side.
Okay.
And there were times we were able to lock down the rotate and exploit that to hit somewhere else. And there were times where we were able to simply just push through, break away the cipher tripwire, and make our plays happen.
Yeah, I mean, and this ended up being the closest, most difficult game for you all in your run in the tournament, right?
It was. We were advised through anonymous sources not to play against Zonk Squad on split because their split is strong. But we had gone through the day before. We had played split and won 13-4, I believe the scoreline was. we were feeling very confident on our split game, and so we
I had to challenge them. I gotcha.
yeah, we took them in, we took them on, and we were able to make it happen.
Able to pull out the win.
All right. I feel like we got about this quarterfinals match enough. All right, let's get into the last quarterfinals match. Optimistic versus Serpent Strikers on Sunset, 13-9.
Serpent Strikers? I mostly talk about focus on Serpent Strikers here because we see this is actually really funny because I was just going through looking up the different results and stuff for all the teams, and this is literally identical to a Swiss game that these two teams played. It's the exact same map, exact same scoreline, 13-9 Optimistic on Sunset. So they just they repeated exactly what happened in Swiss, apparently.
Yeah, PenFlash hates Serpent Strikers. For real.
What do you mean I hate Serpent? I was just about to talk about Serpent Strikers. I think this was a really good showing for them. They're another one of those teams that I think is a little further down the standings that doesn't reflect their actual ability as a team, because they were the team in the kickoff tournament, I believe, who weren't able to play the last 2 rounds of Swiss because our boy Heated Toilet Seat had the issue with like a false like Vanguard boot for him from the game. Yeah. So they had to forfeit and not play the rest of that Swiss tournament. So they lost out on a couple opportunities to play there. And but even despite that, they have a 4-4 record now coming out of this tournament. They were able to make top 8 here. So like a really good, like, impressive showing for Serpent Strikers. I think they're another team that could. I don't know if I necessarily see them in the same way I see some of the other teams we've talked about when we were talking about like the Swiss stage matchups. Of like, I could see this team, like winning a tournament or getting to like a runner-up spot. But I could see Serpent Strikers being a consistent like challenge, like top 8 team in a lot of tournament going forward.
Yeah, I would like to see more of them going forward. They were a fun team to watch. Like, regardless of the results of this match, they were fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think they will. I do think they can perform better than this. I
don't even say this is a bad performance. I mean, they lose like they lose like it's like, but 13-9's a good scoreline, and Optimistic are I don't know how, but they're like the lowest PLO team in the whole league, and they're 8-2. So like, you know, like there's something in the water over in Optimistic that like makes this team hard to beat. So
certainly not the lowest, but definitely on the lower percentages.
The same thing that made Red make his name whatever that cursed in-game username is. It's what makes them so good.
Maybe it throws people. It does. We couldn't figure out what it was.
Like,
no one can figure it out. It just looks like one of those randomly generated passwords by Google. All right. And with that, let's get into the semi-finals. Microsoft versus Nibs and Knobs, 6-13 on Ascent.
Indeed.
And kind of a stomp here of niche micro celebrities able to win a pistol and then get anti-eco'd immediately. I mean, it was what, 12-4. They're able to win 2 more, and Nibs and Knobs able to close it out. Yes. What happened in this game, Julius J?
So when we talked about the quarterfinal round, obviously in the last time that our team had made it to the top 8, we had dropped out on that quarterfinal round. Once we had gotten past that sort of roadblock there, we realized that we have the capacity, we have the ability to win this, and we were able to lock in as a team And everybody had their moment to shine. Everybody had a time where they were able to truly make the difference in the game. Specifically, our team captain, Kepe, had a rock hard mental the entire weekend, and was just able to stay consistently strong and enthusiastic about every single thing we were doing. We have plays coming in from everyone on our team. So when it came down to it, I don't believe we needed to call a timeout. We didn't need a mental reset. We did have those 2-round losses once we hit the 12-4 mark, and we dropped 2 rounds. We had at that point, the next round, what our coach Overheated liked to describe as the most losable 12-4 he'd ever seen.
I don't know about that. I think Overheated's giving you bad advice there. I mean, like, looking at the stats here, it's like literally all of you are, except for K-Pay, and even K-Pay at the bottom has 143 ADR, and everyone else had 170. Like, it just seems like
right.
Like everybody was clicking in this game.
Once we hit that match point, we were very hyped up, and it was another situation like in the match against Zonk Squad, where we got a little bit too much excitement than we were prepared to handle about the way the game was going, and we almost lost our momentum there, but we were able to pick back up. Micro Celebrities still had a lot of fantastic plays. There were several rounds where Olam was able to take a strong angle and kill 3 of us and 4 of us within very few seconds, as well as trap plays coming in with the Phoenix Molly in A main from Fang. All in all, they played very well. We were just able to maintain the line, maintain the mental, and make it happen.
Yep.
Nice.
I would like to interject a bit. Thank you, Potato the Chinese, for donating $25 with the message of Zon is a smelly Underpeel host. Smelly podcast host.
Respect, Potato.
Thank you, Potato.
All
Respect.
too true, my friend.
Thanks, Jelani gifted 5 tier 1 subs too. Shout out Jelani.
Shout out
My
Jelani.
our tiger stonks, Julius, are paying off.
Absolutely, they are. We're already reaching dividends here.
Yeah, exactly. And then Enteritus and Cult also renewed their subscriptions. 2 months on the Underpeel channel. Good stuff.
Alright. And let's get to the last semifinals match. Optimistic versus Frog.gif 13-9. I'm gonna keep being real here. I keep expecting Optimistic to lose something, and then they just don't.
Dude, this game was so fun. I don't know if either of you were able to watch the cast. This was the streamed game for the semifinal. But like this game, I was giddy watching it, like casting and observing it. Of like Optimistic, like I would not play Optimistic on Bind. They have such a good like I don't know why they have such a good understanding of like how to play like bind macro, but they played it immaculately. And like literally I think this game could have been like 13-6, 13-5, but basically they the only times it felt like they were losing on attack, which ended up being a 6-6 half, is Dunk Chai, I think, had 3 different rounds in showers where he just absolutely won the game, or won the round for Frog.gif, because he just like, I swear to God, this guy was like 10-1 in showers duels for a Frog of Dunk Chai. But otherwise, like Optimistic just like had such a good understanding of like how to manipulate rotations on this map and then get a free bomb site to plant on. And then even though like I remember just being so ecstatic watching their attack and how they manipulated the rotations and stuff, it actually ended up being defense where they were able just to put the clamp down and just win out the map outright, basically.
Yeah, Minnie Moth was talking about it after the game, but according to Minnie Moth, Frogger had no real way of countering the defense op, so a lot of the times they would just get first picked, and then this round so they would get the bomb down, but they were playing opponent's plan down numbers. So it just a bit unfortunate. Yeah, it just seemed like Steel Jans popped off. I don't remember who had the op. I think it was Steel Jans. I don't remember. Yeah.
No, it was the Opper was Red. Red is the Opper, and yes, Red was able to change the game on defense, especially with the op.
Minnie Moth glazing Frog.gif currently. I support this. They're a great team.
They absolutely are.
They're probably one of my favorite teams in this, like top tier team. I love them.
They're the exact same as it's them and Nibs and Knobs. I always have my eye on as two of the three teams with the carryover cores from last season, and they've just gotten both teams are incredibly strong. Like both teams are the map win leaders basically. Of Nibs and Knobs have 11, Frog.gif have 10.
If it went to Frog versus Nibs and Knobs for the final, who would you put to win at Pen Flash?
Well, I know that you all have played each other this season, and I believe Frog.gif are winning that series currently, if I'm not mistaken. I think they beat me twice.
Gotcha. No faith. I understand. Heard.
Just put two top tier
based off of my. I mean, that's what should be happening in the finals almost all the time. I believe. I would probably say it's just. I think it's weird because Frog.gif. I don't know if they've actually played that often with their full 5-man roster, and yet they're still getting like pretty good results. I think it's one of the reasons we haven't seen them like take a deeper run into a tournament yet.
When's the last time they had their full roster for a tournament? I can't think of it. I don't think they've ever had their full roster. Because Redmond's been subbing in for one of their players for a lot of the matches.
He subs in for Frog.
Yeah. Alright. And with that, we got a special video provided by Nibs and Knobs themselves that we would like to play before we go over into the grand match.
And Nibs and Knobs just proving they were the best team this weekend. Went undefeated in Swiss stage.
I'm out here in the cold night, running till I barely feel my feet. Wanna see it through my own eyes. There's no going back, and I'm not afraid anymore. Cause I know I'm gonna be the last one standing. Yeah, I'm not afraid anymore. Yeah, I don't wanna wait anymore. I'm ready to fall. I'm ready to rise up. I will do what it takes. I'll run blind straight into the flames. Watch me burn, alone in the shadows. I'll carry you home on my back. If it's you or me, then I'll take the shot. Still they say I'm the villain. I'll scream and nobody listens. Still they say I'm the villain. Too bad you can't take me down. See that I'm surrounded by predators. It's critical, they got me in my element. It's dirty how you trying to keep it elegant. Keep my eyes open wide when everyone around me is an enemy. See my life cross my eyes. I'm ready to fall. I'm ready to rise up. I will do what it takes. If it's you or me, then I'll take the shot.
Let's go!
Holy shit, guys. And you too can also be the world's worst humble braggers if you just win the next weekly and submit a video.
That was a great video. I liked it.
Thank you.
All right, let's get to the grand finals. Optimistic versus Nibs and Knots on split 8-13.
I mean, the score line here, I don't even think shows like it was. It feels
It
like
was very close.
No, I don't think it was that. I was going to say that this scoreline makes it seem closer than it was. Of just looking at double pistol win here for Optimistic. So basically, you take that out, like it's more closer to a 13-4 if you're just looking at gun range. Pen Flash, yeah, my tier list was off on this weekend tournament. I'm not gonna lie.
Pen Flash is a bad predictor, apparently. Like, yeah, I think every single time you predicted something, it just ends up being wrong.
I mean, huge difference here of just Liberty went 7-1 at first kill.
Yeah, that is.
Liberty had an absolutely amazing match. I don't think, as a team, I don't think we could have asked for a better duelist player than the performance that Liberty was able to put out.
Yeah, like, I think, if I remember correctly from what, because I watched it live, a lot of Optimistic's round wins ended up being, like, really close clutches. And most of your guys' wins ended up being either complete stomps or just outstanding performances, either like you, Liberty, or KP or Koopa.
Yeah, I mean, we had like, and not to leave out Booker, who was able to hold down a lot of space with his with the way that we have our setup. Booker's role within the team composition as Cypher is extraordinarily strong, provided that we don't throw the round around him. It does enable us to get those really strong plays happening, though.
I mean, even going back,
yeah. Go ahead.
Even going back to last year, Booker on several matches was the top player, the best player on the team for different times. I believe he was the week 3 player of the week, season 3.
Mm-hmm.
So 100% cast. Is,
yeah.
That's
great. There you go.
Like, even though, like, you know, not an impressive stat line, that stat shows you that Booker, as a Sentinel player, right, did like as perfect of their job as possible. Like, literally did something every single round.
Booker was a foundation that we were able to build on what I believe to be an amazing performance from the whole team, especially Koopa, who was able to lock in the rounds that we otherwise might have lost, and Liberty for being just as consistent as he was.
If I remember right, you all had a strategy of like putting that Unbreakable Cypher trip in mid, and if I'm remembering, that gave Optimistic like a ton of trouble of like just not get past it effectively without
the util that we were able to pull from them in order to get past or break that tripwire was more than worth losing the credits to purchase it and set it up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I still can't believe that Liberty got the post-mortem ace.
I don't think we could have. I don't think we could have picked a better time for an ace to happen than the round that it did.
Yeah, it was a really good match, fun match to watch, that's for sure. And on the optimistic side, Red popped off a bit. I won't lie. The Clove coming out on this player is, I think Red's been playing Clove all the tournament. I don't know why I'm surprised.
Yeah, I believe he's a Clove 1 trick.
That's crazy.
For the most part.
Yeah, him and Bubblegum Frog just played really well. It just seems like they couldn't handle your guys' your defense or your attack, really.
But yeah, I mean, to talk about Red by far the highest, like the best performing gold player in Underpeel so far. Like, it's not even close, actually, looking at all.
I don't think I could even dare to disagree.
For example, like gold has a rating of 1.03. I don't know exactly how Interitus gets this rating number, but it's decent enough for a one number stat, right? The next highest gold player is 0.74. So like,
Oof.
and 0.8. So like, absolutely like, playing way out of their elo on these performances. But that makes sense for when you think about Optimistic's performance. We've talked a lot about Nibs and Knobs. We've given Nibs and Knobs their flowers. They're obviously probably, I mean, considering everything, I would say it's them and MVT right now. Like I did a deep dive of the analysis today, and it's pretty clear that those two teams are basically a good amount ahead of the other teams in the league currently.
The MVT diss track will be coming out later this week.
Okay, yeah, I'm excited. But I was talking about Optimistic for a little bit. Like, again, they're just like going into, they were by far, like at this point, I don't believe they are anymore. But if they're not, they're like the second lowest PLO team. And the fact that they've just been able to go 8-2 and make a grand finals with this team is impressive and shows it's pretty cool. It fits into the Underpeel theme of like, and Nibs and Knobs do too. If it's not like Nibs and Knobs have a immortal player or even anyone really sniffing close to immortal. No offense, Nibs and Knobs, but like, but they're able to be a strong team and win titles basically.
Right. Well, and Optimistic, I mean, like you had said, able to put up as the run that they do is nothing short of a testament to what it is to have good vibes and team chemistry. What that can do for your performance.
They were the intentionally, hey, we're not taking this very seriously. Like, I remember Bubblegum Frog posting pretty continuously in like when the registration for the teams were going on, and Bubblegum Frog was intentionally trying to find a team of players that were just like, yeah, we're not going to take it super seriously. We're just going to kind of vibe out. And somehow they're the vibe merchants, and they're one of the top teams in the league.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they just continuously just get so far in every tournament despite just being, hey, let's just do this for fun because we want to. It's really surprising.
It's wonderful how much fun can do for people.
Having fun in Valorant, that's crazy.
They're rewriting the meta here.
Who needs strats and shit when you just run at them and have fun? Yep. Well, that was last week's weekly summarize for the most part.
We've summarized the tournament. Now it's time to look ahead. We're going into Abyss. 30 teams into the Abyss tournament. The first ever. I love that I'm going to get to claim this forever now. Where the Underpeel is going to be the first Valorant tournament to ever play Abyss.
Ooh.
That's crazy.
In coordinated play. So look at that. We're stamping our marks on the history book. We got 30 teams participating. Just in case if you're, for what I can't imagine that you're watching the podcast. You're one of the 35 people here right now watching the podcast and you didn't see the announcement earlier, but just in case, we have changed the format to be, instead of like our typical format where we do Swiss to break into a top 8 and do a single and bracket, we're just going to be doing a 2-day Swiss tournament that will be 6 rounds long. And all matches will be played on Abyss. And I don't really know like who I would predict to end up winning this tournament, because I think it will, like, obviously a lot of, I see all of the teams and the team servers are all doing their prep, and the differences in what people's opinions on this map are insane. It's going to be a lot of fun to see the results of it over the next 2 days.
Yeah, I have a feeling that a lot of the results of this tournament are going to rely on how well teams can just baseline coordination. really.
I
Right.
agree.
Like even without like insane strats or comps or whatever trying to fit the meta, it's just going to depend on whether or not they can just play together on an unfamiliar territory, especially with all the death drops. Okay, I need someone to keep track of what team has the most amount of death drops. Well, drops to the death. I need someone
Are
to keep
we-
track and then tally them at the end because
Are we counting? Are we counting push-offs as well? Like a breach ultimate
Yes.
pushes somebody
All-
off the map.
all-
I
of them.
haven't
All of
seen
them.
a push off yet. I've been trying to play in the new map queue a ton, but I haven't seen one like forced push off yet.
Yeah, but like,
I know
I
I was trying to go for it with Chase when he played Breach, I think specifically to try and do that, but we weren't able to pull it off.
Breach the breach ult push off is a bit weird. You know the ledges that they're like at the very edge of like A sites.
Mhm.
You can't breach ult someone off of it if they're standing right next to the ledge, like on it. If they're in front of the ledge, you can ult them off though. It's for
I
some
see.
reason that the little wall just prevents them from going just high enough, I guess. But I just want someone to keep track of it because I think it'd be really funny. We get to make fun of the people, like the team who has the most death drops.
What are your alls before we show off the first round matchups, because we do have those. What are your all's predictions? Like what are your predictions of what do you think teams are going to be attempting to, how they're going to try and play the map, and predictions of who you think are going to go deep in this like Swiss tournament?
I expect Nims and Knobs to at least go at minimum 4-2.
Okay.
I would. This is not an expectation. I just hope I want 404 to go really far. I expect Cloud 10 to pop off a bit because especially
Okay.
since we're not on a map that people are familiar with, and it might not be able to trade correctly. JG might be able to exploit that hard. Again, this is an expectation. I expect really fast hits on attack side are probably going to be the meta, which benefits the high elo carry teams.
Yeah, trying to rush a line.
Yeah. Cloud 10, I expect it to go really far, and micro celebrities, I expect to go pretty far as well, just based off of that.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree that the teams that are have some of their composition built around the higher elo players within their roster are going to see some success here, because like you had just said, maps that people are unfamiliar with are going to be prone or vulnerable to fast, strong attack sets. But I also do see teams like MVT, Nibs, and Knobs, where ranks are a little bit more averaged out. The level of coordination that you find in that, or in teams that have set up a similar set of coordination, are going to hit. They're going to allow. Excuse me, I'm talking over myself. They're going to give some strong resistance towards those fast, hard-hitting attack sides.
Yeah, I think we're getting to the point in like the Underpeel's lifespan where the roster cap has been tweaked enough that it's the lower elo players you have to have the higher elo players are enough of a deterrent to kind of prevent the hard carry strat from being super effective, because it's just just so often when I'm observing and casting the games, like those players are just so because they don't have the same level of game sense or game knowledge, they're just not able to keep up in time.
Yeah.
And we see in the results that these teams that are more higher average teams, even though they don't have that high peak player, are able to play more effectively together, basically.
Yeah, it's been apparent because let's say the Masters winners, my team MVT, our highest elo player was what I think it's under 2 peak, with mostly diamonds right now. Ninja Knobs. I think what's your highest elo peak? What, Ascendant 1, 2?
Ascendant. Well, peak Ascendant 2, but current Ascendant 1.
Yeah, like uh, every team, most of the teams that gone far are the mixed, like the mid elo teams. My main guess would just be because coordination is already built into us from comp and stuff like that. So it was just a matter of getting used to each other rather than having to learn the game.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see a ton of teams. I think we're gonna see more Viper than I initially thought of. It seems like people are trying to force Viper onto the map a bit. I think we're gonna see, like you said, like a lot of fast strategies. I think a couple of teams are gonna try and get goofy in middle, and they're gonna get punished for it. And then some of the teams I'm going to be looking out for to do well in this tournament, I think a couple of the teams we haven't seen in a while, I think have a chance, or like have less showcasing, could end up surprising people with like higher placements. Like I'm looking at teams like Team Teehee, for example. It's only played in one tournament, but they're 2-1. I could see them doing like pretty decently, like even though they're like literally the last place team currently in the standings. But it's just, and then there's other teams, for example, like Mouse House and Parasite. Both were top 4 teams in the kickoff tournaments and then haven't played since. So there are good teams that I think are a bit lower and like off the radar a bit, who can surprise people and like might pop up and get like a top 4 placement again in this Abyss tournament.
Yeah, I'm excited. I want to see Mouse House's results in this, because from my memory, they were a really good team.
Yeah, they were good. They're another one of those teams that I think have like very strong vibes together, like have played a lot of Valorant together and like are gonna have the vibe buff. And I think the vibe buff is gonna be really strong on a new map.
Alright. I think we've got long enough. Let's reveal the match. The first round matchups. Oh no. Parasite's first game back, and they have to face the Masters champions.
Yeah, I mean, in Battle Hunt Bozos, they've had some roster changes. They are now by far the lowest elo, elo team in the league. So not expecting an upset there. I believe. Basically, I mentioned this when I saw their roster. They're basically constructed like a team that is like wanting to have a JG or Kahuna on their team, but they don't have a JG or Kahuna on their team. So they're But I think they've definitely shifted, I think, to a much more like casual for fun roster. So
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, the other team, the match I will probably just immediately I'm drawn to here is our very last one here of Asayaki versus Bliss. Of the new team, we have a new team that registered for the Underpeel, formed from basically a couple of players reuniting from 100 Bs from season 3 are playing with Blueberry Maxers. A couple of the players from that roster have joined together to make a new team. So I think where I would rate that team is right around the same as like Asayaki in terms of like their ability to play. So I could see either of those teams going pretty deep in the tournament. So that would be a fun match to watch.
Yeah, I really want. Like this is my request to anyone who's watching it that is going to watch Party. The OM versus Moderate game. The OM versus Moderate and Supercast versus Abuse Park. I really want to watch those two games. I'll be playing so I can't, but like, I would like to watch it post.
Yeah, Sewer
Tony.
Cats versus Abusement Park is interesting.
We're gonna need some VODs.
Right?
Yeah, everyone's gonna have to post their VODs. Elovators versus 404. Some draft team matchups going on. Yeah, the optimistic moderate game looks good. One Tap Copium versus Mouse House, I think, would be a pretty decent game. Not all Euro, Navi'd win. Some pretty interesting matchups right out the gate.
It's too bad that we can't stream all 15 matches at once.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
We just
we're
have
not
to
a big
split up the
corporation.
screen into 15 different.
You're so
15
right.
different matches going simultaneous.
Yeah, we
You
could
just have
red
15
zone it.
Valorant clans on one computer.
Yeah, we would just destroy our PCs trying to run Valorant.
Yep.
so often.
Alright. What's your predictions for the first round, Ilias?
Predictions for the first round. I mean, like you had said, the first two matchups I think are going to be fairly decisive. I'm particularly interested in seeing. Where did I clocked it just a minute ago? Silly Little Oppers versus You Raise Me Up. I think that's going to be personally an interesting match.
That's one of those matchups with where you could potentially see on a new map, like a player of Teku's caliber being able to lift the team up and get a better result than they typically have because it's a new map and that individual skill. Like the new map, right, is going to be able to offset some of the like coordination buff I think some of the teams have of playing together because like they haven't played together a ton on this new map yet.
Right, and that it may be the question of who's scrimmed the map the most or who's looked at the Valoplant menu for enough hours and strained their eyes that much, just as well as it could be whoever is able to lock down on one particular idea and execute that idea as effectively as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's probably different strategies that are going to be effective. Like, I think there's going to be, like, for example, shout out friend of the Banana server, Anders. He has a series where he really broke down. It was way back when Pearl first came out, but he had like a 4-part series where he showed how he, as a like high level tier 1 analyst coach, would break down a map to decide how it should be played.
Mm-hmm.
And he had, because he has a very unique way of viewing the game, but like he had, by the end of it, he had like 3 very different comps that could all effectively play the map, and they each had like a different style of play. But basically he's saying like it, like you said, of like it goes down to like figuring out like what does our team's personnel particularly like play well with, and like can we figure out how to what's the way to make that style effective on this
Right,
map.
exactly.
But I guess we'll have to see starting tomorrow.
Yep. And with that, we covered everything that we would want for the podcast for this week. Any last words you two gentlemen would like to say?
Just well played to everybody that had gone over the past weekend and gone out there, played their best, did their best. No one match was unfun. I think well played to everybody.
I feel like it could be a problem if there was a match that was unfun.
Great tournament last week, yeah. But we gotta everybody's gotta go and tell their friends and family to watch Into the Abyss, because we got 150 of you playing in it, and we got the first ever Abyss tournament going on. So we gotta get the people. We gotta let the Valorant community know that we're showcasing the map.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, I can't wait to play in the best tournament. The map is so much fun.
It's a ton of fun to really like cook things up and figure them out. I know I've got a few people that are actively looking for more tech, day by day, hour by hour, just interesting things you can do on this map.
Yeah, I'm not even playing, and me and one of my friends from the server Hyperion have been mostly he has created like a 20 slide playbook already.
Hyperion is crazy. I think it was a 18 side specifically, and it was very in depth. It was kind of insane.
Yes, all the folks. If you're looking for a coach, you guys gotta try and scoop this guy up. He's prickly though, a prickly pear.
All right, that is all for today's podcast. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will see you next week to cover the Into the Abyss.